The 462nd edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by BetRivers. Claim your risk-free bet of up to $500 over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start making smarter bets today.
Howdy ho, degenerinos, and welcome to the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Episode 462 is going out to my co-host, who had one of the greatest nights in this show's history last night, and he's going to let you know all about it. It wasn't just MMA; he hit NBA first bucket, 14-1 play as well. So, despite being Mr. Moneybags, he's shown up for this recap of UFC and ESPN. Dariush versus Sarukian. I don't think I introduced myself again. I'm Jeff Chalks Fox. I was thinking it wasn't a good night for myself until I checked that I hit my luck, I hit my dog, and I hit my prop play. So it was a good night for me. So let's bring in Gumby. He needs to gloat some more. He's been gloating online in our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Now he's going to do it in your ear holes and eye holes as well. Hello, Mr. Moneybags, Vreeland.
So I did have a really good night, to the point where our silly game of betting $100 jokingly on every single money line. I'm now out of reach of you, right? Like you can't come back.
Probably.
Yeah.
There isn't enough time. There's what, 2 events left? I think I'm in trouble.
I was like going to say there's not time. And not unless you hit like every single pick from here on out. So while I was good at that, to your point, I was going to give you kudos off the top because you hit all of your recommended plays. I hit none of mine.
You didn't.
I hit 10 out of my 12 picks. I hit 5 underdogs, and the only one I didn't hit was the one that was like my dog of the week, which is just wild, including high IQ Cody Brunson, which I feel like we're gonna have to talk about.
Cody Brundage, not Cody Brunson.
Oh yeah,
you're thinking NBA again. Brunson's an NBA name.
I'm getting or PFL. Maybe I just love PFL that much.
Oh yeah, Derek Brunson. Yeah, so it was a good night for both of us. Now that will be the spin I will put when I post this article, this podcast. We both destroyed.
I like that spin. We can all eat.
Yep, with only 2 events left. Yeah, I think for the first time in the show's history, Gummy's going to beat me. You're not only going to beat me, but you're going to sweep the board probably, because you got me in locks and you got me in dogs and you got me in props. Props and dogs are pretty close. I might be able to get you in those still if I buckle up. But the other ones,
buckle up,
buckle up, or strap in. Maybe strap in's better. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but it was a fun night of betting. I wasn't in the Discord because I wasn't able to watch the fights till later on. Was the Discord having as much fun as you were with their picks, Gumby?
They seem to be. Shout out to there's some guy with a username that I could not put together. I think I wrote it down, but he had not only Cody Brundage KO, he had Cody Brundage KO in round 1.
Oh, fantastic.
Which was 15-1. It was Lloyd to Josh KK.
Okay. Never even heard of that person, but welcome to the family.
Yeah.
Maybe he's one of the lurkers. He was waiting for this moment.
I think he's posted a bunch of times, and just like it doesn't register with me often because it's like not a name I can say. Like you can just say like, whatever, Eric Does Sports is really easy thing to say. Turnip is really easy to say. Lloyd to Josh KK is not an easy thing to say.
Yes. No, it's not. It's not. 9 finishes too last night. So it was a wild night in Austin, which was good. We didn't mention this in the previews, but this was Texas, Gumby, and you don't want to go to the scorecards in Texas. So luckily
there was a little shadiness early too. There was a little shadiness with jamey-lyn Horst. Yeah, jamey-lyn Horst should not have taken any. I mean, it was close enough that it was not like the worst thing Texas has ever done. But like, hey, like almost messed one up there.
Yep, they did. Luckily, they didn't get then you got 3 chances to mess things up, and all those fights were pretty. Well, I guess the Guida one they could have messed up. That one was close, but the Figueiredo Font one was not. So maybe Texas is getting better, Gumby. Maybe they're growing up.
Maybe they just didn't get enough opportunities.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Small sample size is true. All right. So, of course, we were talking about UFC Austin, aka UFC on ESPN, Dariush versus Sarukian. It was in the Moody Center in Austin, Texas. I don't see attendance or gate, but I'll look that up. We'll start things off right from the main event. We had 9 finishes last night, including in the main event. Arman Sarukian took care of Beneil Dariush. Sarukian via knockout was my prop at plus 150. I thought he was going to get it done with ground and pound, but apparently he can crack on the feet as well. Because it is Beneil Dariush, so grain of salt knocking that guy out, but still biggest win of Sarukian's career. The thing about these two guys, I was going to say in our preview of this, despite being well respected and highly ranked guys, they don't really have a whole lot of quality scalps on their mantle. There's a bad analogy. They don't have too many good wins on their mantle. So this is definitely Sarukian's biggest win of his career.
Yeah, and it's like a big one for him too, because like to crack into that top 5, like all those, we keep talking about them, the guys who won't fight anybody but each other, right? Like Islam Makhachev, Justin Gaethje, Poirier, Oliveira, they're like only fighting each other for the most part, with the like occasional person slipping in. If you slip in and you get to fight one of these guys, not only is it important that you beat them, but it's important that you beat them so emphatically that they can't deny you the next one. And that's what Sarukian did here, right? Like Sarukian, for the record, I thought he was going to get it done on the feet too, because like, why would you choose to go to the ground with Beneil Dariush? Like, I wouldn't. And he was the better wrestler, so he was going to get to choose. So like, I'm glad. Not only did he win because it's fresh blood at the top of the division, although he's already fought Makhachev, so like maybe that's not a fresh matchup. It should guarantee that we're now talking about him fighting the Justin Gaethjes and the Dustin Poiriers of the world. And like those people shouldn't be able to deny him anymore unless they're ready to step aside.
He's undeniable. Undeniable Arman Sarukian, new nickname. Easier to say than his current nickname. I guess I buried the lead here. It was a knockout knee and punches. It was the knee that pretty much did the trick. He just put some icing on the cake with the punches. And it only took him a minute 4 into the first round. But yeah, mentioning his biggest win, look through his resume. Next best win is maybe Olivier Aubin-Mercier, only because of what he's done since that time, and that was July 2019. Nothing else jumps off. Davi Ramos, Matt Pravola, Christos Giagos, Joel Alvarez, Demir Ismagulov, Joaquim Silva.
Maybe
out there?
Maybe Ismagulov. Yeah.
But
but to be fair, too, a lot of it is because he couldn't get these kind of fights.
Yep.
Like they kept not giving him these fights, or I think the Davi Ramos fight only happened when somebody else dropped out, if I'm remembering correct. So like he's not fighting top guys because they're either dropping out or not accepting. And like that's why this was so important that he did this in such a manner, because like now they can step aside, but they are going to be saying, I don't want to fight in a number 1 contender fight, or I don't want to fight for an interim title, or like, if you're saying no to him now, you're also saying no to the opportunity to fight the top of the division.
Very true. And it's same was the case with Dariush. He's got a slightly better resume, but not by much. So it's probably why I saw a bit of Sarukian's post-fight interview. Yeah, he was very thankful for getting this opportunity and getting having Dariush agree to fight him. So, all right, who's next? What's next for Sarukian? How would you book this?
I mean, if we're saying how would I book this in like I can get somebody to say yes to him no matter what.
Yeah,
I'd really like him to fight Dustin Poirier. I think that would be a move, right? Because Poirier is coming off that loss to Gaethje. In theory, he could use a big win to put him back on the map. It seems like Sarukian would be that one. But I also don't know that Poirier wants to fight the big money fights anymore. Like, I think he might just want Conor McGregor. I think he might just want Paddy Pimblett. I think he might just want, like stuff that's going to sell on pay-per-view and headline stuff. I don't know that he wants like a dangerous guy that would prove he could still hang at the top of the division. If that's the case, like I'd be fine with him fighting a Charles Oliveira or somebody like that. It doesn't seem like he's getting the next title shot, right? Because is that going to Charles Oliveira? Is it going to Gaethje? I don't know how well he's inserted him into that picture.
Yeah.
But if it's going to Gaethje, why not Oliveira?
Yeah. I would guess probably Gaethje if they had to choose between the two guys.
I mean, he's got it's an interim belt, right? Like, but it's dumb.
Yeah.
But like that should guarantee he's next.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He has an interim belt? I don't pay attention.
Was that
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was his other interim belt. I'm just remembering him like laying the interim belt down, being like, "This isn't the real deal," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that wasn't the Poirier
that was a long
fight.
time ago.
That was the other one."
Yeah, maybe he's a BMF. I can't keep track of these pretend belts.
Yeah, they're dumb as shit.
Dariush, he's only 34. He looks like he's 54, but he's only 44. I mean 34, excuse me. Knocked out in back-to-back fights though, and we already had questions about his chin. So
yeah, the Drakkar Klose fight already raised questions about his chin, right? Like he was already kind of questionable.
Yeah, it's always been an issue for him, but now it's actually hurting him. He's actually losing because of it. So yeah. Is this the end of Beneil Dariush? Is he auto fade going forward?
I don't know if he's an auto fade, but like he needs a step back. Like he needs a guy barely in the top 10 or, just kicking around the bottom of the, he needs Jalen Turner, maybe, somebody like that.
Yeah.
But that's my point though, is that Jalen Turner's towards the bottom of the division. Yeah. In I'd still probably pick Jalen Turner at this point.
Yeah. Does he need some just for men, or do you like the gray?
I mean, he's a little bit less gray than me, I think, even. So good for him.
No.
Oh,
yeah, you are around the same ages too.
We got to kick it around the cheeks. Yeah, no, he's just a little dusty on top.
Yes. All right. So that was that. We're going to tell you about Bet Rivers now, because that's where we got all our lines for these fights from, and that's how Gumby won his buttloads of money. Bet Rivers. We're brought to you today by Bet Rivers once again. Bet Rivers is available in over 14 states plus where I am, Ontario, Canada. Bet Rivers has some of the best live betting markets in the space. Their betting menu is second to none, including a ton of props. Depositing and withdrawing is super easy on Bet Rivers. Do you have a play of the day for Bet Rivers, Gumby?
Oh man,
no NBA. The NBA is back tomorrow though.
The NBA really threw me off by taking a day off. I was getting ready to dive into some NBA action on Sunday, and I didn't see anything. No, but they're doing that in-season quarterfinals. I can't imagine the Pacers beat the Celtics in that thing. So I'll take the Celtics with whatever kind of points they're laying in that one.
All right. There you go. So that will be Monday's episode. So make sure you listen. Not episode. Monday's. Do we have lines yet for that? Let's check. Celtics -4.5.
Oh yeah, that's easy then. Yeah, I'd lay 7 on them.
Maybe it's even better line on Bet Rivers. So check out Bet Rivers. Sign up using our link, of course, to get a risk-free bet up to $500. All of Gumby's picks are risk-free as it is. This is extra insurance for you. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BETRIVERS. Problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay. Gumby, your hat. I didn't mention your hat off the top again. Have we seen that one already? It looks familiar.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm kind of running into the situation now where I don't remember what I've worn yet or not. This is the AA Colorado Rockies. They are the Hartford Yard Goats.
We may have seen it. John will know for sure. But yes, there's a lot of goats in Connecticut, Gumby, in people's yards.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
It doesn't really seem like a Connecticut type of thing to me.
Yard goats.
Yard goats seem more like a Southern thing. Anyhow, we had some concerns about Jalen Turner, the way he was talking heading into this fight, the fact he was taking on short notice, the fact that he was going to have to cut a buttload of weight and get down to 156 pounds at 6'3" on two weeks notice, or even however long it was. He assuaged our fears immediately. It only took 249 to knock out Bobby Green. The referee, he wanted to show us all a dead body in there, but luckily he didn't show us a dead body. Jalen Turner, Bobby Green eventually stopped acting like the punches didn't hurt him, because actually it was slow motion. You barely even realized that you got caught, but you got clipped on the temple, and then you started doing the wobbly leg, and then the end was nigh. Or not nigh, near. So we had Turner -230. We also had Sorokin -305. I forgot to mention that off the top. So we're doing good off the top of the card here.
Did you learn anything about this fight? I mean, other than like the weight cut in the mental space of Jalen Turner is was worrisome, but ultimately not all that worrisome. So yeah, like it's not like I wouldn't have expected Jalen Turner to come in and absolutely just slaughter Bobby Green, and he did that. So
well, Bobby Green's been surprising us though. So this is
has
the
he
bigger
or
win, bigger? Yeah, maybe not.
has he been surprising us, or did Grant Dawson surprise us? Because ultimately, I kind of think that's what happened, is that Grant Dawson wound up having a far worse chin than we all thought he did. And it wasn't actually all that much of a pat on the back to Bobby Green.
Yep. And I'm glad Bobby Green didn't die. So yeah, Jalen Turner, I enjoy watching Jalen Turner fight. I want to see more of Jalen Turner. Hopefully he keeps fighting. Do you have any ideas for him next? Oh, you want him to fight Dariush, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that matchmaking.
No, it makes sense. Timing works and all that jazz.
Yeah, I mean, timing works if Dariush is not like badly concussed, because he might very well be badly concussed.
Yep. Anyhow, good job, Tarantula. Turner, bantamweights, good job here as well. Davison Figueiredo took care of Rob Font. Rob Font is too tough to get knocked out because he could have been a few times there. 30-27 across the board. Figueiredo took him a little bit. He was processing the information to start off the fight for a while there. And then once he had it processed, he was doing what we hoped he would do. His power translated, his speed translated to the new weight class. If he was fighting a lesser man than Rob Font, this would have not gone the distance. We had Figueiredo surprisingly and happily at plus 108.
Yeah, this makes a ton of fun matchups at bantamweight. Right?
Sure does.
You can book him with anybody. And to quickly toot our own horn here as having him as an underdog, we said he's going to be too fast. He's just going to be too fast for Rob Font. Rob Font's a really great fighter, but like when your best attribute is your speed, and you get somebody speedier than you with damn near more power. And as we saw, good grappling at bantamweight. I was really impressed by how he mixed the takedowns in there once in a while. There's just no hope to beat that guy. So ultimately, probably should have put that as a underdog of the week instead of Clay Guida, who sadly didn't catch for me. But booking wise, who says no to Davison Figueiredo versus Corey Sandhagen? Man, Corey Sandhagen and Davison Figueiredo would be a banger. And make it 5 rounds. I need 5 rounds of it.
Yep. It's got to be headliner or a 5-round fight at the very least. So Figueiredo was my dog of the week. So the only thing that is going to catch up to him is age eventually, because he is an older guy at a low weight class. He's 35. He's going to be 36 actually.
Though. He's a weirdly shaped dude for that age and that size. Like, what 35-year-old bantamweight has ever looked like Davison Figueiredo, right?
Yep.
That dude is cut from a different cloth.
Gumby's into weird shaped men, so he would know. He would know. He's going to be 36 in 2 weeks, so even worse. So no time to waste here. Get him lots of non-Brandon Moreno fights, as many as you can give him. Welterweights, Sean Brady. This was a domination. Holy moly! He just dominated Calvin Gastelum. Submitted him with a Kimura, round 3 at minute 43 in. I did get called out on Twitter for saying that Brady was the better striker, which I probably shouldn't have said. Sometimes I just say things on the show to fill dead air. But then he went out and was a better striker than
he was way better.
dropped him multiple times. So I don't know. Maybe I knew what I was talking about. But anyhow, it was the grappling. That was the story here. Just utter dominance of this is probably more impressive than if he just went and knocked him out in a minute, like guys did in the top fights here.
Yeah, I actually didn't think he was going to be the better striker too. I know that's something that you said, and I was like, man, I don't know. That Michael Chiesa fight worried me, but I mean, he not only was the better striker in terms of power, he was the better striker in terms of volume most of the time he was on the That fight made me feel a lot better about my Sean Brady fandom than I have in the past. Because sometimes he wins,
back, baby. He's back.
Yeah, but like sometimes he wins, and you're like, okay, his grappling's really good, and we know that. We've always known that. That's why I became a fan of him in the first place. But then at the end of the day, you're like, but what happens if he can't? Which is kind of what happened in the Bilal Muhammad fight, right? And also just like, I love these moments where you're like, did we learn something more about Sean Brady? I mean, yeah, we did. His striking's a little better, but also, do we learn something more about Bilal Muhammad? Man, that dude is such an underrated beast. I might wind up picking him to be champ by the end of 2024 when we talk about futures. I mean, I almost did this year. If you go back and you listen to our futures episode last December, I think I said that line on Bilal Muhammad, it was like 16-1 or something like that. Not the worst line you'll ever find for a future champ. In hey, if Colby Covington got hurt or chipped another tooth, like he could be champ by the end of the year. So.
Yeah, he seems to be putting it together. He's got his loss out of the way.
Brady does that.
Yeah, a quality loss as well. So yeah, we're back on the Sean Brady train. This is like I forget what made Calvin Gastelum good because I forget like what was he good at? Was he not supposed to be a good wrestler? Was he not? I know he was durable, but like was he ever really any good? Gumby, am I doing revisionist history here?
I mean, I think there's parts of him that are really promising, right? Like when we saw in his last fight where he really got his hands going and threw with really good volume, we were like, oh yeah, like it looks like he could hang around here at welterweight. Whereas before he was like an undersized middleweight trying to wrestle sometimes, and that like just doesn't hold up. So I think it was more promising to see that. And yeah, he's always been able to like wrestle a little bit, but this is kind of the Davison Figueiredo Rob Font problem, right? Like he can wrestle a little bit when he's having trouble on the feet, unless he's fighting a guy who's 80 times the wrestler than him. And then in that case, he's got no emergency plan. So, like kind of the same point of Rob Font. He's never been the big knockout guy. He's never been the big wrestling guy. He's never been the big jiu-jitsu guy. He's been the speed guy, and that's been his out. Figueiredo canceled that out. Ditto here with Sean Brady and Gastelum. He like needs wrestling to be his out, and he doesn't have it in that fight. So props to Brady on just obliterating Calvin Gastelum.
He made weight though, so that's positive, right?
He did make weight.
Yep. But yeah, his resume too, if you look it up, is not so hot. Not many of Gastelum's wins have aged very well as all. It's all fighters well past their prime that he beat. So, all right, let's move on to things that do hold up, such as Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy are friends with their pick'em, or they're higher, not pick'em, they're higher and lower that they do. And we do articles on it every day on the sportsgamblingpodcast.com, the website there. And they have a way for you to play along to your favorite fantasy players all season long: NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football, and don't forget about MMA. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. Do you have one, Gumby? No NBA tomorrow, so you may not be prepared here. Do you have a higher or lower?
There is NBA tomorrow.
Wait. Tomorrow there is. Yes.
There's not today. So I'll take we mentioned the Celtics Pacers game. Even though I'm taking the Celtics, I'll take the higher than on Halliburton's dimes. I'll say he's going to dish it out.
Of course, he does every game. I have him in fantasy, so I'm thankful for that. And yeah, it's sure it'll be a high scoring affair. So watch along. See how ugly the courts are going to be. Make your picks. And maybe make a little cash over our Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching and start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right. Gummy did a bunch of winning last night, but not in this next fight. Clay Guida did fight for our money at plus 255. Joaquim Silva squeezed out the win, though, 29-28 across the board. Boy, Guida still has that chin, man. He's 41, but boy, Silva is a knockout artist. Knockout artist who's hit him numerous times and had him on skates, but then he comes back from the dead like the zombie that he is. The Zombie Carpenter is the new nickname. I'm giving everyone new nicknames today, Gumby. He is Zombie Carpenter. We also have the Undeniable, and you're going to be Gumby God again. I'm giving you an old nickname back again. So, all right. break it down. Let us know about this fight.
I mean, nothing really to say other than like if Guida's wrestling got going a little bit better in round 3, we're sitting here talking about hitting another massive underdog. I don't know that we learned anything here, right? I'm still not high on Joaquim Silva. He's barely beating guys like Clay Guida, and he's 34 or something like that. It's like not like he's a prospect in any stretch of the imagination, and like. Just let Clay Guida keep fighting, I guess. Maybe have a rematch between him and Jim Miller for UFC 300.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I mean, like they already fought one. Was I live at that? I think I was live the first time they fought. It was only 40 seconds long. Miller popped him with a right hand and guillotined him. But like, run that again. Run Guida in fun fights. I guess that's all I have to say. Maybe let him beat Paddy Pimblett on short notice when Tony Ferguson trips and falls.
Yep. All right. And in the opener, middleweights, this one, it hurt. I got it wrong.
Didn't hurt.
Gumby, huh?
Didn't hurt me.
No. Dustin Stolfus, plus 240. Gumby had him. He won via submission, rear naked choke, 4-10 into the second round over Puna Soriano, even though Soriano, I was going to say he looked better. I guess he was a better man.
Nope.
You don't think he was a better man?
Puna?
He
looked terrible. He looked really bad.
He didn't look good, but I still thought he was going to win the fight.
He was getting beat on the feet by a wrestler.
He was by a wrestler. Yes, that's true. All right, fine. Yeah. Screw you, Puna, making me lose.
He looks so bad.
Is Stolfus good or Puna bad?
Maybe a little of both. I think I said before, I think Stolfus is kind of being slept on in all of this because, like, he does have really good wrestling. Again, he was a guy who picked up and slammed Joe Pyfer. Would he have ultimately won that fight with Pyfer? Probably not, unless Joe Pyfer's elbow came out of his skin like it did. But, like, he's still able to pick a guy up like that and slam him, which we saw him do with Puna time and time again here. And, like, he could find... to the point of the announcers as they were actually correctly analyzing during this fight, Puna just seems to throw the same left hand over and over and over and over again. He throws the same exact left hand as he did the first time. And Stolfus is smart enough to counter it and to know that it's coming again and to know that it's coming again. And so is he good? I mean, not in a way that we're talking about him, fighting, Kai Ohio or, like somebody in the top 15, but like good enough to put away guys who, are probably on their last leg of being in the UFC, right? Like he should beat the Puna Sorianos of the division and the Dolce Lugiambulas and like those types of guys. So like not great, but definitely good enough to put away guys and to bet it, plus 240.
Yeah. We talked about Dustin Stolfus for far too long on this episode already. Gumby went 5-1 on the main card. I went 4-2. We did lose a fight. This was off. This wasn't a main card fight. No, it wasn't. Steve Garcia, the Meme Machine, talked to Gumby on Top Turtle Podcast, and then he got mysteriously ill before his fight and had to pull out. So it's back, baby. He's
fighting again. He's fighting again this week, though.
Is he?
They just rebooked him, and now him and Melky is on the card on the 9th now. They're just fighting a week later now.
Maybe I'll pick Melky this time because I was.
Oh, you had Garcia.
I switched last minute, so yeah. Maybe I'll go back to what I actually was going to pick originally.
Don't pick Garcia.
All right, the main event of the prelims, the mom fight. Miesha Tate face cranked Julia Avila. They had trouble saying her name for some reason last night. They kept flip-flopping on how to say Avila. She got face cranked 1:15 into the third round. This was total domination by Miesha Tate. People are saying she's back. And she says she's going for a title run. And I always scoff at that when it's an older fighter. And then I realize, oh, wait a minute, this is bantamweight. And I'm checking my performance rankings that I do on the Substack, moneymma.substack.com. I think she's up to 5th now at bantamweight. So yeah, maybe she's making a title run.
I'm going to give you a real question to ask whether or not she got a title run in her. Would you pick her to beat Juliana Pena tomorrow?
That's good. I knew you were going to say that. So yes, I would.
I would too. The minute I was watching her absolutely manhandle Julia Avila, rip her to the ground, great positioning, like ground and pound, the whole 9. I was like, she could beat Pena tomorrow. Like I think bantamweight's the right weight class for her. She had the right gas tank she needed. Is she a little older? Yeah, but it's like, I mean, this is like the women's heavyweight division, so to speak. Like, you can be a little bit older in this division. And like, I don't know that I wouldn't pick her over Raquel Pennington at this point, or I mean, Mayra Buena Silva, maybe not, but like,
maybe not her.
Dude, we might be talking about Miesha Tate champ 2024. Like, that very well could be in the cards.
What a weight class. Bantamweight is. But anyhow, a dominant performance. Don't want to crap on her performance because it was a dominant. And Julia Avila, props to her for losing almost 100 pounds from being pregnant to jumping back into this fight. So middleweights, Cody Brundage, KO, slamming punches over
high
Zach
IQ
Reese.
Cody Brundage.
high IQ Cody Brundage is like, I'm gonna pick up and slam this man's head off the canvas, and that's what he did. A minute 49 into the fight, and Gumby hit this one so disgusting. He hit Cody Brundage and Dustin Stolfus both at big plus money on the night. How disgusting is that? He had him at plus 180.
And Cody Brundage KO plus 600.
Oh yes,
don't forget
you had that in real life, right?
And as part of the Hungry Man Jong, which unfortunately barely missed at 34-1. In like the cruelest way possible, because it was that and Gooden KO. And Gooden had Wellington Turman knocked out and just didn't get it. But let's not take time away from talking about high IQ Cody Brundage and his ability to say, I'm not going to strike with a dude who's 6 inches taller than me and has typically knocked everybody and their cousin out. Let me take him to the ground, where all he's done so far is throw up kind of a weak armbar that Ali Aronoff had to put himself back into. And he's like, and when I'm in a submission, I'm not going to put myself deeper into it. I'm going to bounce his head off the mat like I saw somebody do 6 seconds ago, and get myself the second slam KO of UFC Austin. Fat bonus check, all that good stuff. Couldn't be happier with Cody Brundage fighting that way. And, you know, I'm going to reiterate what I said on Wednesday when we broke his fight down. The skills are there for Cody Brundage to be like an actual menace at what middleweight. And I'm not saying like champ, I'm not saying top 5, but I'm saying like he could be like one of those like Max Griffin like characters that the welterweight division has, the Nico Prices, that just hang around the numbers 20 through 25 and turn a bunch of young guys away who think they're good. And it's just like fun as hell, because the fact of the matter is he's got good wrestling. He's got big hands. And he's going to do something dumb enough once in a while that is going to keep him from being in the top 15. So, give me more Cody Brundage.
All right, Gumby's taking crazy pills, as Talon on the Hockey Gambling Podcast likes to say often. So, Cody Brundage, he's a real thing according to Gumby. Let's go to lightweights. Drakkar Klose, this guy's a real thing and the underrated one. Hopefully he stays underrated for a while. We can still get good lines on him like we did last night at minus 132. I was thinking it was 160, even better, 132. Took care of Joe Solecki. Another knockout slam. This started off the back-to-back knockout slams. So it was one of those nights in the UFC. Only took him a minute 41. This was a fight. He was going to win anyway, but maybe not if it stayed on the ground. That was a little bit concerning, but this is a fight we predicted he was going to win anyhow, and he knocked out Joe Solecki by slamming his head off of the mat.
Yeah, the only way Solecki was going to win that was catching him. And then when he did
catch him, on it.
Yeah, he did catch him. He was like, I'm going to hold on to this thing for dear life, because I think he felt the power of Drakkar Klose too, and was like, this is it. This is my shot, and had to go for it. It's an unfortunate looking knockout for Joe Solecki, but ultimately I think Drakkar Klose is, you know, I said one of the more underrated guys at lightweight when you consider how close he is to, I mean, like, if you take that Beneil Dariush fight away, that's 7 in a row. And he had Dariush knocked out. So like, where does this guy fit into the division? Like, maybe it's time for him to have a ranked opponent.
Yep. Maybe, yeah. It's been the inactivity is been the issue with him, but I think he can, if he can keep it going and keep putting on performances like this, then the sky is the limit, and he's got to make the money now, because Courtney Casey Closa is going to give birth to their child, so she won't be in the cage. So yeah, he's got to keep winning and getting himself his 50K bonuses here. Light heavyweights, Rodolfo Bellato, not Bellator. Rest in peace. took care of your Pochiera. This was a battle, a fight of the night battle.
It was gross.
It was a sloppy rock'em sock'em robots, the type of fight Dana White loves. Bellato minus 400 came through for us. He knocked out TKO punches 417 into the second.
Nothing much to say here other than you definitely got to be worried about Bellato in the future in terms of taking punches, because we sort of said Ihor Portiera, not the cleanest striker on the planet, not the most heavy-handed striker on the planet, and still had Bellato inches away from losing the zero, or well, I guess he doesn't have the zero. He did lose to what's his face there on Contender Series, but like this close to taking his first UFC L. And like that obviously doesn't bode well for the future.
No, this is like the common fan Dana White. This is his type of fight, though.
It is
no defense. Rock him.
I mean, it was fun to watch while it lasted.
Yep.
Yeah, like what? Yep. I'm not gonna. You could spite Dana White for liking that kind of fight. If it's on the prelims, buckle me in for one of those.
Yeah, that's true. It was a meaningless fight, so why not do Rock'em Sock'em? Welterweights. God.
Yes.
I wrote on my subs. I wrote on my Substack. I'm not picking Jared Gooden to win a UFC fight. Come on, that was my analysis of the fight. I should have picked him though. He submitted. Of course, this was predictable too, that he would beat Wellington Turman on the ground. But no, it was Wellington Turman decided to have a striking battle with him. It was kind of going okay for him. He did have a good in trouble.
I said he looked sharper.
Yeah, this was Gooden's only path to victory. Was knocking your head off. He did a bag and tag instead. Plus 163. So yeah, he had. I forgot to mention Gooden. You had Gooden. You had Brundage. You had Stolfus. Three of the silliest picks you've ever made. They all came through. You're going to be emboldened now to be even sillier going forward. You had Gooden at plus 163.
I had Figgy and Tate for underdogs too as well. I had 5 underdogs.
Yeah.
Man, the clip I put up on our Twitter was just perfect because it said Wellington Turman is better everywhere. He's a better.
Yep.
He's better at jiu-jitsu. He's got sharper striking, and his striking looked really sharp on Saturday. Like it looked really good. And he's got the whole package. You stack up all the skills. It's better. Ain't gonna matter. It's still gonna go wrong for him, and you could just feel it. And you knew, dude with the big hands gonna clip the guy with the although his wrestling looked better than I thought it was gonna too. And it just doesn't matter because Gooden throws hard.
he heard Gumby picked him, so he was. Jared Gooden had extra confidence because he had the backing of Gumby. And then in the opener, jamey-lyn Horth did not get going until the fight was over, pretty much in the third round. Veronica Hardy proved to be elusive. I was writing and saying that jamey-lyn Horth was going to be a size bully. That did not come through. She did not use her size.
It wasn't the third.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say she did not use much in the first 2 rounds, and then maybe she was thinking it was a 5-round fight. Because she did not turn things on until the third round. She still won one judge's scorecard incorrectly. It was 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. Veronica Hardy, I don't know if she's a thing or not, but she's won 2 straight fights since her comeback.
I don't know if she is either. I think I don't think your analysis that she's elusive is necessarily wrong, but I also don't think she's as elusive as she looked on Saturday.
No, it was Horth too.
I think it was Horth, just being tentative. Like she just, if she had gone forward with the same game plan as she did in the third round, in the first round, I think she most likely picks up one of those first 2 rounds before she wins the third. And B, I also think Hardy is just more tired and more tentative by the third round, that she's like not herself either. Instead, you like let her get settled in. And then even though you let her get settled in, the game plan still worked in the third round, even though she was like settled and had found her range already. So like, imagine how good it would have worked if she was not settled in and had not found her range. So I think it was just like a game plan in fight IQ issue with Horth in this one. I'm not ready to like anoint Hardy like somebody to keep an eye on at this point.
Yeah, maybe Dan Hardy is the supreme coach though, for all we know, right?
He might be.
Yeah, he might be. All right. Gumby went 10-2, everybody. That's amazing. He won 866-67 based on $100 in every fight. I went 6-6, lost 234-33 because no one bets that way. On the year, 59% and 58% hit rate. I've dipped under 60. It was a bad night, and Gumby is creeping ever closer. As for We'll do return on investment because I missed those few weeks when I was away in the summer. So our totals are a little different than normal. I'm down 6%. Gumby's only down 2%. So he has got me for the year.
It's all over.
I have some hope with fancy plays. So Gumby whiffed on all of his fancy Nancy plays. He whiffed on Horth, Guida, and Close via decision. I had Turner as my lock. I had Figueiredo as my dog. I had Sarukian knockout as my prop. So I hit him on those. We had half of the Super Hungry Man John. You almost hit the plus 3,400. Yeah, Brundage knockout.
It should have been a TKO. They could have called it with the punches beforehand.
Gooden could have been a TKO, or Gumby could have said Gooden inside the distance, but nope. He forgot about the amazing submission skills of Jerry Gooden.
16-1 for him by submission, by the way, on its own.
Fantastic. Yes, fantastic. So that was a wild night of action in Texas. We couldn't have hoped for anything differently. As for the bonuses, Bellato Pachiera won $50K for fight of the night. Performance of the night, they actually did what they should do. They should just give bonuses out to everyone who gets the finish. Saruki and Turner, Brady, Stolfs, Tate, Brundage, Closa, Gooden all got 50K. So a bunch of people are going to get cut tomorrow because the UFC can't afford a bunch of people. Office workers are going to lose their job because the UFC gave out all this extra money, right? They're just a little up organization, right?
The courts currently are talking about something far different
than
that.
It's true. I forgot to check if we had attendance in gate last night, in case anyone cares about that. I know there was at least one person there. Joe Rogan was there, so I know that happened. All right, it was 14,485 people in attendance, 2.45 million US gates. So their highest grossing UFC fight night gate for the UFC. That's the highest grossing fight night gate. Wow. Why they got to stop doing the Apex, man? I really get why they're still doing the Apex.
There's got to be some sort of cost controlled nature of being able to do it in your own backyard. You know, like
not
having to fly people everywhere and not have to worry about lodging and stuff like that. Like there must be some, but like you're right. To your point, they're not. How much are they saving?
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about booking good fights either in the Apex, so that might be a thing, right?
But people,
which brings us to next week.
I will tell you, people show up for fight cards even when they suck. You know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
I covered fights one time for a website in Utica, UFC Utica, and that place was packed. It was a minor league hockey stadium, and it was filled up for the first fight because people just like, hey, when are the next time they're going to come to Utica?
Yep. It is true. If you go to, off the map places, you don't go back to the same places, then yeah, definitely you can pack the house. All right. They're going to pack the UFC Apex next week again, or this coming week, depending on how you think of it. We got UFC Fight Night, Song versus Gutierrez from the Apex on the 9th of December. This actually was supposed to be in China. They moved to the Apex. Did we hear why?
I'm not quite sure the reason why, but it must have been something fairly significant because they would have to cancel all 4 of the road to the UFC finals and postpone them to a later date. So, like, it wound up being a pretty large inconvenience. And the card's a little thin. I know they're like haphazardly throwing last-second fights on the card to make it a little more full. So they must have had a damn good reason not to go to China.
Yeah. More companies should have damn good reasons to go to China. But anyhow, we won't talk politics, right? Let's go main card. Go through this amazing fight coming ESPN Plus. Song Yadong Gutierrez tops things off the top. Dan Smith, that would be a UFC Apex main event. As UFC sticks with stuff like that. But no, that's co-main event. Smith, Alamas, Nascimento, Nasrat, Hawk, Jamie Larkey, John Young Park, Andre Muniz. Prelims, Song Kinan, Kevin Jose, Young, Sung Park, Shanos, Luana Santos, Stephanie Egger, Daniel Marcos as well. Any thoughts? Oh, no. And you said another fight got moved here, right?
Also the Mean Machine fight versus Melky Costa. That'll be on the card as well. Yeah, that's a good one. The haphazard ones that got thrown together was you'll remember Alan Carr was one who got she got a draw on Contender Series, and they gave her opponent a contract, but not her. And now she's in because they needed somebody to fight on short notice, and that's the type of person who says yes to that. So I'm actually excited to see how she progresses because her hands looked awful in that fight and her jiu-jitsu looks sick. So against high-end Amanda, who's now her last name's something different now. It's not high-end Dos Santos.
Right.
It's she got married to the white assassin, Colton England.
Okay.
Yeah,
High-end England.
yeah, so it's high-end England. Now we're high-end Amanda England or Dos Santos Amanda England or something of that nature. But that's a fun fight. Nevertheless, Jamie Malarkey's kind of always in weird fights.
Yep.
I'm here for him versus Nasrat Haqparast. That fight was actually supposed to happen back in February. That Kevin Jousset looked good in his debut down in Australia, so it's interesting to see him back in there. You know, I'm always here for a Tetsuya Taira fight. And I haven't made an official pick yet on this main event, but I will tell you I think it's closer than the odds say.
All right.
The odds are a blowout for Song Yadong. I think we're sleeping on how good Gutierrez is with his hands.
Yep. Oh, maybe we'll get some dog plus money action in the main event. So that is this coming week. Until then, we shall be in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can also contact us on Twitter. Gumby runs our account and puts up sick highlights and everything, and some of our fancy Nancy plays. That's at SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm a Jeff Fox writer there, and I'm Jeff Fox writer on Instagram. My Substack once again is moneymma.substack.com. Get in there, play my pick'em contest, check out my content, see if you like it. You will like Gumby's Top Turtle podcast because I'm not on it, and that's the optimal listening experience right there. Just Gumby, no Chalks Fox, and that drops usually midweek. Do we have this week's in the can yet? Do we know who's going to be on it, Gumby?
I know one of the two for sure. One of the two is going to be the aforementioned Jamie Malarkey from Down Under, so you can enjoy that one.
Nothing but malarkey with that boy, Jamie Malarkey. All right. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com and sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Help us crush corporate gambling. We'll be back tomorrow. We just got done talking about fighting in the octagon. Now we're going to talk about octagon with a K tomorrow. It's regional. Yeah, great. That was great by me. Regional MMA Mondays, as per usual on this podcast. It'll be me, Raging Panda, Jeff Fox, and Cupcake Gumby God Vreeland will be riding shotgun. We'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.